Hey, this is Doug from Doug and Nikki. Here in my hands is a super cool new ATTOP beginner drone. So I know what you want to see. You want to see how it flies. You want to see what the video looks like. So we're going to put it up in the air right now. We're going to fly it first, show you what that looks like. I'll tell you about some of the features and stuff while you're watching it fly. Then we will come back. I'll do Doug's score from 1 to 5, let you know what I thought of it. And then finally at the end, if you want to hang around and see what comes in the box, we'll do a full unboxing so you know. So let's go play with it. Okay, let's talk about some of the features of this ATTOP beginner drone. This is 1080p, which is HD, but still fairly simple camera. No image stabilization, but it is wide angle at 120 degrees. It has all kinds of those modern features where you can control it via the app. You can control it via the remote. It has one button, fly, land. It does 360-degree flips. It has a return to home function. It's not GPS enabled. It kind of hones in on the remote. I'll have some tips on how to use that towards the end of the video. It has a headless mode. In simplest terms, the headless mode makes the drone fly in whatever direction you put the controls in, which is a little easier for beginners. Obviously, it has FPV where you can see, if you're using the app, you can see what the drone sees as it flies. It comes with propeller guards, which I highly recommend. It really protects the drone while you're flying it. Additionally, it comes with 2 batteries. Again, those batteries are good for about 9 minutes each, 18 minutes in total. All right, let's go back and do that review. Okay, you watched it fly a little bit, heard about some of the specs on it, and so now let's talk about the review. It's unusual for me, if you've watched the channel before, I have both the controller and the drone in my hand because I got some comments on both. Let's start with the controller. Number one, I really love the size of it. I will say I've been spoiled by a couple recent drones that actually have a separate adjustment for the trim. You can adjust the trim just fine, but I've gotten a little spoiled that it worked that way. Outside of that, the remote worked just fine. Hey, comment below if you've ever seen a mount like this. It's just a giant clip for your cell phone on a remote. So on this remote, it does have this giant clip, which I was a little suspicious of. I was like, oh, it's got a giant hair clip. I'm gonna drop my phone again. It's gonna break again. But check that out. Look, I'm showing you. It is nice and stable in there. Worked really well, and actually it was strong enough that I have to offset it a little bit to avoid some of these dumb buttons on the side of my phone. And it worked perfectly. So let me put that down. Let's talk about the drone. Okay, so the drone. Overall, the drone is an outstanding beginner drone, certainly within the normal range of all the beginner drones that I've tested and that kind of stuff. I do have some positive things about it, and I do have a couple not really negative things, but not my favorite thing about it, but again, totally reasonable for a beginner drone like this. So let's talk about number one, ease of use, setup, the battery, hooking it up, getting the app to work, all that stuff worked really well, really well. Basic flying is really super easy, super good. It was very easy to get trimmed out and balanced and all those things, with the exception of, I don't know if you can see my hair moving, I'm assuming you can see the trees moving. There is a light breeze, and so that's one of my things I need to tell you about this. This drone is very sensitive to the wind. I'm guessing probably just makes enough power to make it fly and do the stunts and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't have a lot of power to then fight the wind. So if it's windy out, if it's breezy day like you see here today, you need to watch it and you need to be careful because the wind definitely will take it. Again, I'd prefer that that wasn't the case, but I think it's totally normal for this kind of thing. Secondly, in terms of the power output and that kind of stuff, the stunts work so well, so good, they're so fun. I hope I got a couple of them on video, but they definitely suck the life out of it. It's a very small battery. Let me show you. That's the whole battery, right? So you can only do probably half a dozen flips, maybe a dozen flips and that kind of stuff before the drone says no more flips. You can still get a good amount of flight time after it says no more flips. I don't have enough power, but I will tell you, your flippability with it is limited, but it does come with 2 batteries. You'd always have one charging while you're doing your flips, so the fun continues. And outside of that, oh, the other warning I do have for you is the return to home button. If you are not, you hit that return to home button and it comes sailing back in roughly your direction, but you know, it's not a GPS drone. It's not like some super accurate thing coming back to a single point. So it comes back fast and it comes back in a beeline. So there better not be anything between you and the drone, and you better be prepared to hit the brakes when it gets close to you, because it is like coming back. So I would say, like, if you're flying in like a football field and it's just you by yourself, no problem, works great. If you're flying in an environment like this, you got to be really careful about that. But outside of that, it's a nice feature to have, because sometimes these things kind of drift away, like I said, in the wind, and you need it to come home, and you hit that button and it does that. So overall, I am going to give this a solid 4 out of 5 on the Doug score for a great beginner drone. I love that it's white. I think it looks super cool. It is ultra light. The packaging's great. I hope that was helpful. If you're still interested, let's go and do that unboxing. Okay, welcome back. You saw it fly, you saw the review, and now you're here to see the unboxing. So let's do that. I really reviewed most of the features of it while we were flying it, but let's still go over some of those while we're looking at it. So you should know that so you should know it has a gravity sensor, which is going to make for a nice stable flight. It's FPV, so you can see on your phone where you're flying it while you're flying it. Oh, and it's white. I don't know why I was thinking it was going to be black. I know why, that's why, because the box is black. Oh, so while I'm opening it, I do need to tell you that this was provided to me by ATTOP, but with no instructions. So that review was honest. If it was good, I told you it was good. If it sucked, I'm free to tell you it sucked, and I've done that from time to time. So let's take a look at it. Here are this thing is wicked looking. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, so I'm gonna first show you the batteries. These are composite batteries, nice small ones like that, which is why it's got about a 15-minute flight time. They look nicely finished. I have to say, ATTOP, their products are always very finished and very nice looking. Also a little innovative, which I think is very cool as a company. Also very innovative, which I think is very cool as a company. This remote is giant size, which is perfect for me. I got big hands, it feels good in my hands, but I'm sure it's also that way so kids could easily use it. It's got the standard controls. It's got the one-touch takeoff and land, speed control, some toggles on the back. What are the? Turn the camera on and off, and the emergency return home button. It's got a little thing that pops out here. If you want to use the FPV, you just attach your phone there. That's super easy. I also appreciate this. It comes with batteries, so you don't have to start with batteries for the remote. If you get this as a gift for somebody, they can open it up, and outside of charging these batteries so that they can fly it, everything's here so that they're ready to fly. You don't have to start with batteries. It's got replacement blades. It's got the charger for the batteries itself. And let's take a look at the drone, right? You've waited long enough. Let's take a look. Whoo, look at this. How cool is this? This is wicked looking. Oh, I love it. It's smaller than I expected, but a really cool size. I'm so curious what it flew like. You know, I don't know what it flew like. This thing looks ridiculously cool. Overall, the only other thing I want to tell you about, remind you about, is you can see the motors up here. This is not a brushless drone, which means there's some gears here which drive the blades, which isn't bad, but you need to know if you hit something and you make contact, this blade stops and those gears are still spinning, you can damage it and you'd have to repair that, and you don't want to do that. So just be careful, know that that's an issue, be aware of it, take a little extra care. In any case, fly it, enjoy it, have fun. I'm excited, I'm going to charge it up and go fly it. This has been Doug from Doug and Nikki. Hope that was helpful. We'll see you next time.